Hello everyone, welcome to 𝗕𝗏𝗦𝗖 Academy. So let us continue our quiz. Today we are on the 12th episode. We'll deal with question numbers 111 to 120. So question number 111. Which of the following is or included when you calculate the GDP at a market price? Generally we have a GDP at factor cost and GDP at market price. Currently India, we calculate GDP at market price. So when you calculate GDP at market price, which of the taxes or subsidy is included? So we have options 1 and 2, only 2, only 3, all of the above. So what will be the correct answer? The moment you talk about the market price, you should know in the market price generally what happens, we include only the indirect taxes. So if you look at here, the correct answer therefore is B. Only indirect taxes are included in market price because subsidies are not included, and direct taxes like income tax, corporate tax, these are not included in the GDP estimate. So the correct answer therefore would be option B. Only second 2 indirect taxes is the correct one. Question number 112. With reference to the constitutional provisions for the State Council of Ministers, consider the following statements. This is from the polity subject. So according to the 91st Amendment Act 2003, the minimum number of ministers in a state including the chief minister cannot be less than 12. It is a constitutional requirement for the states of Jharkhand and Odisha to have a minister in charge of tribal welfare. And every minister has the right to speak in and take part in the proceedings, both houses of the state legislature, right? So what do you think? So you have option 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 1 and 3, all of the above. So these are little bit of what we can say technical things that we need to be familiar. So let us look at the correct answer. The correct answer is D, 1, 2 and 3, right? So if you look at here, according to the 91st Amendment Act 2003, the minimum number cannot be less than 12. It is the constitutional requirement. The states for the Jharkhand and Odisha, they must have a tribal welfare, right? So if you see here, along with Madhya Pradesh and also Chhattisgarh, they must have a minister for tribal welfare. Okay, so just be familiar with that. Then each minister has the right to speak and take part in the proceedings of both the houses of legislature. So if you see, Article 177 grants minister the right to participate in the proceedings of both houses, although they can only vote in the house in which they are a member. Okay, so some clarifications are also given here. So if you are looking at the PDF file also, you can save and go through the details for your study. Question 113. The power of the parliament to punish individuals for breach of its privileges is derived from which article? So article 105, 129, 226, 32. So what will be the correct answer? This should be little easier. This is article 105. That is where we have the constitution deals with the powers and privileges. Okay. So the houses of parliament and the members and committees thereof. So it grants the parliament the power to define and punish individuals for the breach of its privileges, which are like misused, etc. Okay, so that is article 105. Question 114. This is from the geography related questions. Mercury is the closest planet to the sun. Venus rotates in the same direction as most other planets. So the main key focus here is Venus rotates in what direction? Same direction or opposite direction. Mars has got 2 moons, right? And the moons are named Phobos and Deimos. So which are correct? So you have got option 1 only, 2 only, 3 only, 1 and 3. So here the correct answer is D, right? That is 1 and 3. Because the problem is with this one, Venus. Venus rotates in the same direction. This is not correct. Actually, Venus rotates in the opposite direction, retrograde direction. So when you are preparing for competitive exams, These are like very basic geography or basic science we need to know. Question 115. Which of the following statements are correct in the context of Food Corporation of India and also food security? So the FCI purchases food grains at minimum support price. FCI distributes food grains at the central issue price, and FCI is an ad hoc body. So here we have a problem, what type of body is FCI? FCI is basically what we can say statutory body. So we have a difficulty with these options here, right? So let us look at the correct answer. The correct answer is C, that is only 1 and 2. Why? Because FCI is not a ad hoc body. It is basically a statutory body under the Food Corporation FCI Act 1964. Okay, so remember it is basically a statutory body. Exam में ऐसे question आपको पूछा जाता है, like these are very common type of question that you can expect in any exam. Question 116. Consider the following statements regarding the Earth's crust. So the crust of the outermost solid layer of the Earth, that is what we call the crust. Oceanic crust is thicker than the continental crust. The crust is primarily composed of silicate minerals. So which of the statements are correct? We have 1 and 2, 1 and 3, 2 and 3, yeah, 1, 2 and 3. So if you look at the correct answer is B, right? That is 1 and 3. Why? Oceanic crust is thicker than the continental crust is wrong. So if you see here, the continental crust is thicker, 20 to 70 kilometer. Oceanic crust is only 5 to 10 kilometer, right? So if you see, this is the continental crust and this is the oceanic crust. Clear? So the continental crust is much thicker than the oceanic crust. Is this clear? So these are again like what we can say some key concepts from the geography subject. Okay. Question 117. This is from history. Consider the following statements about the decline and the fall of �ᵘ dynasty. So the �ᵘ dynasty ruled the Delhi Sultanate from 1414 to 1451. The dynasty was founded by Khizr Khan, who was former governor of Multan under the Tughlaq rulers. The �ᵘs were unable to manage administration effectively due to lack of resources and manpower, and the �ᵘ dynasty was overthrown by the Lodhi dynasty. So which of the statements are correct? History is part of our most of the exams. So how many statements are correct? Only 1, yeah, 2 or 3, yeah, 4. So if you look at the correct answer here, answer D. That means 4 statements. All the 4 statements are correct here. Okay, the ruling period is 1414 to 1451, founded by Khizr Khan. They were unable to manage and also they were overthrown by the Lodhi dynasty. Okay, is this clear now? So the explanations are given here also. You can have a look at that. Question 118, also from the art and culture, right? Consider the following statements about the science and tech in the Vedic period. So the concept of zero was first mentioned in Yajurveda. Sushruta, known as the father of surgery, wrote the Sushruta Samhita, which describes the surgical techniques and instruments. The Rig Veda mentions the use of iron, indicating early knowledge of metallurgy. The concept of the earth's rotation was suggested in the Rig Veda. Okay, so which of these statements are correct? So we have 1 and 2, 1, 2 and 4, 2 and 3, yeah, 2, 3 and 4. So if you look at here, the correct answer is B, that is 1, 2 and 4. Okay. Sorry, the correct answer is 2 and 3 because this concept of earth rotation was not explicitly mentioned. So the correct answer is B, that is the 2 and 3. So if you look at here, what is the problem with the statement 4 we need to understand. So the concept of earth rotation is not explicitly suggested by 𝗥𝗶𝗹𝘄, therefore statement 4 we can say it is not really correct. What about the statement 1? The concept of zero was mentioned in 𝗕𝗫𝗦𝗖. So the concept of zero was not mentioned in 𝗕𝗫𝗦𝗖. It was later developed by Indian mathematicians. Okay. So statement 2 and statement 3 are the correct statement. So the correct answer therefore is B, that is correct. Question 119. With reference to the non-cooperation movement in Assam, consider the following statements. Okay. So Mahatma Gandhi visited Assam for the first time in 1921 to spread the message of non-cooperation. The Cunningham Circular was issued to encourage Assamese students to join the movement. The Pandu session of the Indian National Congress was the first time national meet was held in Assam. So which of these statements are correct? Right. So if you look at the correct answer is B, that is statements 1 and 3, right? So what is the problem with statement 2? If you see here, the Cunningham Circular was actually intended to suppress the student participation by forcing them to sign an undertaking of good behavior so that they would not join the movement. That was the whole idea. So statement 2 is definitely wrong. It was not to encourage the students, but it is rather to discourage the students from joining the movement. Okay. 120. Which group has all the kharif crops? So these kind of questions can basically asked from the agriculture. So we have a jowar, mustard and maize, soya bean, moong and cotton, barley, wheat and soya bean, right? Which correct pair has all the kharif crops? So what is the answer? This is tricky. These kind of things you have to be very clear. So if you look at the answer is C, okay, where we have all the kharif crop. So the correct answer is C, that is only 2. Why? What is problem with 1? So if you see here, mustard is basically a rabi crop. Can you see here? The rabi crops, we have a mustard. Then here you have a wheat, So wheat, you see, again wheat is a major rabi crop. So 1 and 3, they have a mix of kharif and rabi. Only 2 as all the kharif crops. Okay, so the correct answer therefore will be statement 2 only. Therefore the answer C is correct. Okay. So now if you are looking for more MCQs or more test series, you want to prepare for exams, you can contact Bhadra IAS Academy at 8638391721 and keep following our daily quiz videos. You will get plenty of help and material for your exam preparation. Thank you.